Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning.
I almost tripped over my computer cord. What? Good morning. Welcome. Off in my mess to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Dear Becky and Lizzie / side by side. No, not side
Not
by
side
side.
by side, but
The Liz and Rebecca show.
maybe better than yesterday, maybe not, because we're both kind of out of it today. Hi, I'm Rebecca. Wait, let me try that again without. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber. In gloomy and super rainy, and we're supposed to get like 3 inches of rain today, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
That's her sunny, chippy self. No,
Supposed to gradually warm up to 60 degrees tomorrow morning.
That's crazy.
And then just stop.
That's the reason that we're not getting like 3 feet of snow, is because it's warm here right now. But we are under a flood watch, which is better than like a flash. It was watch or warning.
Warning is bad.
Warning's bad. So it's better than a flash flood warning. We get those sometimes because we are like what, tropical rainforest ish.
There's lots of little creeks and
doesn't
and
mean we're the
rivers
Amazon, but it means
know.
that we get a lot of rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we get a lot of rain, sometimes we get a lot of flooding. There were several places on the drive-in today that were potential hydroplaning hazards. So
yes.
But
and there's been a lot of snow melt.
Yeah.
So
well, and this
we have a lot of
this May, yeah, sorry.
Nowhere for it to go. You're fine.
I'm really good at not letting her finish her sentences. And this may wash away some snow, but there's a lot of snow and ice pack in places that I think isn't going to get touched by this. So we'll see. But the very bottom of all the snow piles might still be there. But I'm noticing like the lighting is different today. And that's because we rely on we rely on a lot of natural light, like behind where the camera, it's my computer. Behind where the camera is a lot of windows for anyone who hasn't been in the shop. And when it's not super sunny out there, we look a little more in shadow. We've got some great lights in here, but it's a big space. So it's hard to, they're way up high. And so they did the best they could. And it's much better than our old space, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Where we started. I still remember when I first opened for those first 3 hours on that first Friday night, I had 12 lights, like little lights, like I just lost. Oh wait, no. I lost it and I caught it in my lap and I lost it again.
I know where it is.
I might have to get it.
Would you like me to get
We had 12 lights that were like this big in a shop that was maybe just under 700 square feet. A lot smaller than here, but it was still mood lighting. Is it somewhere I can reach it?
Is straight down under, just under your chair.
Yeah. So a little bit of a slower pace today for us. Because I think, Liz, you're tired. Wait, I shouldn't speak for you, but
I just when health questionnaires are like in the morning, do you wake up fully rested? No, because it's the morning and no one should be awake. Like I woke up and I'm surfing my phone and I blink and I'm like, no, gotta stay awake. I turned my alarm off. Gotta stay awake.
I woke up. The cat kind of let me sleep tonight. Last night he did not. Last night it was, I'm gonna come up right here next to you and I'm gonna, first he tries the quiet yawn, like the little, so he yawns and is like, but it's loud enough to wake me up. It's like,
oh yeah,
I want attention. And then he tries the headbutt and the stretch where he's kind of flapping at me. And that was 2 nights ago. So I came in all out of sorts yesterday. He let me sleep last night. But I was so tired. Why were we so tired?
I don't know.
We don't even know, because it's not like it was a super busy day yesterday. But you saw that like we got pulled away by, was it the phone? Was it someone coming in?
Someone walked up.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, it was that person, the couple walking around town. They didn't actually come in.
They were new to the area. She's a knitter. She'll be back. But they were just wandering around downtown.
She's like, oh, it's a yarn shop. Yay. No, so we went home. I was just bone weary tired. It was crazy. Maybe it was the impending weather, who knows. And my tummy's all out of sorts today, so it's just, I'm not sick, but you know how when your body's not feeling right, it's just tiring. And again, you'll say, how is that different from any other time you're on camera? No,
It's not.
it's not. I just hide it better some days than others, and I complain about it more some days than others. But you know, it's Thursday, so we're here with y'all. And excuse me, I have water, and I'm gonna have some ginger ale later. But that's one thing that we discussed though, because I wasn't feeling great over the weekend too. We and in our discussions over text, it was like, well, we both don't really hydrate well enough, so that could be part of it. So I'm trying. Look, lots of water right here in front of me, and there's another one over there. So we don't have any Dear Becky and Lizzie.
We don't.
But
I've been checking it.
yeah, but there was a time like before we started Dear Becky and Lizzie that we filmed on Thursdays.
Yeah.
But we didn't rely on that to film.
No.
And see, I'm one of those people who lets y'all know our process right here on camera. So I have thoughts, and I mean, we've covered so many subjects. It's not like I'm like, hey, let's pick a subject to talk about today. Because we film 3 days a week. So it's hard to keep coming up with topics. That's why we started the Dear Becky and Lizzie, because we know there's things that we don't think of that y'all want us to talk about. So like for next week, if you have an idea, and we don't need them. It's not like we're like, oh my gosh, we can't survive without questions, but we love hearing your questions. So
and we've rehashed some questions because some newer people, you know, they didn't watch the older shows, or they send in a new spin on a question. They want to go
look for the older shows. And, yeah,
you know,
paw through.
We don't mind questions.
I don't mind.
We can talk yarn all
talking about stuff, right? No, if you have a question you've been thinking about asking, but you're like, nah, it's silly or something like that. Nothing's silly. It's all good to talk about. And you can write us at Dear Becky and Lizzie, Sun Dragon Art and Fiber, 35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina, 28712. Or you can email
Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
But I mentioned, because we got cut off yesterday, both because we started filming too late and people walked up to the door. I had mentioned that we might recap today, and I had things to bring in today that we decided on Mushishi. Did you? Did I ask you to bring something in?
No, but
the Twilight sweater.
I didn't.
That's okay. We can still talk about it next Tuesday.
Yeah.
If you make progress and want to bring it in. I hadn't made any promises for what she'd bring in, but I said I would bring in and we have corrections from yesterday's episode. Like this yarn, Liz thought we were out of. It's what my sweater's in. I'm going to show it off in a second.
We're so not out of it.
We have like 6 skeins of it at least. And that's because we were out of it. And then I ordered more right before break, but things that came in right before break, we were so tired then. I'm talking a different kind of tired that we didn't keep track of, like in our heads. It's not like, oh yeah, we've got more of that now. So let me get out my Favorite Flannel is the name of the pattern. It's by Alicia Plummer. And this is how much this is still my first skein of Mushishi. I used a different skein for the collar. Like this sweater is one of those top down. So starts up here, but not with the collar. Raglan seam. And I have some really, what I think are some pretty decent videos on different types of shoulder seams and stuff that kind of map them out and explain them. I'm looking for what might be the front of the back. I want to say this is the back and this is the front. I haven't made it very far on this. At one point, this was just as far as my LON, and then I actually started working on my LON. So
you'll get back to it.
Oh, I know. It starts, I have the collar on mine because I took a second skein of this and went back and did the collar because I wanted the collar on it. And honestly, the collar is doing this flippy floppy thing that I'm hoping blocking will take care of. The collar on this is, it is a brioche collar. which is kind of fun. Like brioche looks like ribbing anyway, but this brioche collar is a little loose. Like you do it on tinier needles anyway, but brioche tends to floof up to begin with. So I'm gonna have to see when it gets later on and I try it on how floofy it is, because blocking will take care of flippy floppy like this, but it won't necessarily take care of if something is too big. So you cannot make something smaller with blocking. But what I wanted to show off on this die is just how the colors combine. So this becomes this when you knit with it. And it's stripy, but it's also intermingled. And depending on the width of what you're making, it will stripe intermingle at different paces. So in all of the Mushishi, like there's a patch that is more burgundy and there's a patch that's more brown, but then there's a little bit of burgundy right in here. Like there's a little stripe, there's little pieces and stripes. If you go way back on my Instagram feed, you can see pictures of this rather than us trying to show you on a little bit of a grainy video. Because we made it yarn of the week, it probably will be in my morning meditations on social media at some point. So you can see it in a higher quality video and a higher quality photographic effort. But raglan seams are these diagonals that you have in 4 places. Like the sweater I'm wearing right now isn't all what I call all over increases. I'm wearing my striped sweater, I'm trying to change up my sweaters as much as I can lately. I mean, y'all saw this last week, I think, but this one, you don't have a noticeable seam. Like a raglan seam will run right here and on the back too. It's in some ways one of the easier pullovers to make because you're only increasing around 4 spots. All over increasing, it's also easy, but you have to pay attention to spread them out evenly. But then it looks pretty cool when you get it done, you know? All this is my t-shirt. This has a pretty wide collar. This is Andrea Mowry stripes. And I've done it in a really floofy, really thin sport weight yarn. It's written for a thicker sport weight yarn. Suddenly realized I had a realization about something entirely different. I'll talk about that in a second. But you can make it with a tighter collar. I just wanted to get the collar done, so I started with the collar. So it's wide, but I'm adjusting. I used to hate wide neck sweaters. Absolutely, well, not hate. It's a very strong word, right? I used to extremely dislike wide neck sweaters.
Dislike.
I had a passionate dislike. I was just like, I had avoidance of them. And I've embraced them more, even with like, or if I wore them, I'd be like, I can't wear it with a t-shirt. I'm going to have to wear it with something like a tank top underneath. And then I realized, you know, especially when the neckline kind of mirrors the neckline up above, and maybe I'm the only one annoyed by it, but I found some balance. I found some okayness with, but people will notice this and think it's weird. And there's always the, you throw on a nice shawl. And I've had a lot of discussions with people at the shop lately about crescent shawls because they're not super thick and they provide nice coverage, you know. So this is part of my bouncing all over the place about anything I want to talk about knitting or crocheting related. What you shaking your head at?
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. She's not saying it's not okay. We're just, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to be excited to see what this looks like. It's going to stripe differently, like as it's growing and making room for the shoulders, it's going to start striping thinner and then it will stripe thicker and it'll be intermingled, which is kind of cool. It's one of those, if you want regular stripes like this the whole way through a piece, if you want it to always be striping at the same rate, you have to do that yourself. You have to change the colors yourself. This, you change colors every 8 rows. Done. The sleeves will stripe at the same pace. The torso will stripe at the same pace. My no frills sweater that I'm making with color changing mohair, that's changing at its own pace. It's a regular pace, but, and I left that one at home, so I can't hold it up to compare, but when I do the sleeves on that one, the sleeves are going to stripe at a different pace than the torso. Because even though the sleeves are wider than you might imagine, like when you look straight on at someone's sleeves, they're like this wide, but it's all the way around. So it's about as wide usually as someone's front. If they're doing like what I find when I do a pieced sweater, which means you make a front, you make a back, you make sleeves, you put them on. Each piece is almost the same size. Like the sleeves are a little bit smaller, but not as small, much smaller as you would think. So,
well, that's like lots of people have said, when you do a sweater, the torso takes as long as the sleeves take as long as the torso.
Yeah. I mean, one at a time, like if you put the time, or if you do them two at a time, the two sleeves are going to take just as long as the torso did. Yeah. Like one sleeve might not take as much time, but the two of them, it's not like I'm on the sleeves, I'm almost done. I'm on the sleeves, I'm halfway.
It's, when you're halfway done with the triangle shawl, you're actually on
and the rows get
half.
Longer. Yes. Oh my gosh.
And that's how my sweaters work out, because I have short torsos. So like my sleeves up, torso, it's done.
No, it's not.
And then I have to go and do sleeves are evil.
So but for some people they're necessary evil. You also can do short sleeves.
You can.
You can. I was wearing this sweater yesterday.
In the summer, I don't generally do because it's hot.
Yeah, but I avoided short sleeve sweaters for so long. I wore this one yesterday because I run around the shop and I get hot, but I got too cold because I was going outside too. So, that was a lose-lose, but it was pretty. I avoided making short sleeve sweaters for the longest time. And then I realized they're actually kind of nice for spring and fall.
Yeah.
Depending on what you make them out of. Like I avoided especially making wool sweaters. And now I'm looking over the camera right now at my Jupiter crop. I'll have to wear that again in the rotation sometime soon because I do love it. And that's a wool short sleeve sweater. That's going to be fantastic in the fall, in a hot, maybe in early spring. Like I made mine in both bright but dark and broody colors. So it depends on if that mood strikes me in spring, like when it's still chilly out, it's a maybe. So some people are like, nope, I'm only going to wear dark colors in the fall and I have to wear the happy bright colors in the spring. It's personal preference at this point.
It's still bright enough.
Yeah, it's true.
That it's springy, and
it's one of those things, if I'm spending enough time outside, I probably won't wear it till it warms up. But you're absolutely right that in the summer, I'm probably not going to wear it unless I'm all inside all the time and I'm chilly because of air conditioning or something, but layers in the summer, depending on where you live, I should always add that on, depending on where you live. Because I think I saw a post, it might have been from Hohi or someone, about how they get so much knitting done in the summer, which is now, but I think it's because they're on the other side of the globe, so they're, it was weird. So January, no, that's what I was going for. So January is their summer. Anyway, I can hear the rain. The rain just got,
it's heavy.
So I brought this in to show off. We already showed off the gray shawl. Oh, that's under here too. I was looking for where it's supposed to be hanging up. So the Mushishi, and I think this, for a wool, it's decently soft. It's not super, super squishy merino soft, but we've already had the discussion about how that stuff will pill more. That's, there's give and take. We've had so many customers come into the shop this week who want soft but won't pill. And sometimes they want the trifecta of it being machine washable. And I'm just like, I got nothing. Because we're not a bad yarn shop because we have yarn that pills. It's kind of life.
I'm the one who always says plastic tubing.
I said it to you once.
And she said it to, like, a customer came in, I want soft and squishy and yummy and no pill.
And I think she even said, and the one thing I'm really looking for is it can't pill.
Yeah. And Rebecca looked at her and said plastic tubing, and my heart sang.
And then I explained like the joke.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I'm not serious. I'm being sarcastic, but here's why I said that, because it's hard to have those kinds of expectations, because that's like unicorn yarn, you know, that's the dream we wish. That's like I want the Addy needles with the Chow Gu quartz. They're not made yet.
A dweem within a dweem.
Oh, that's something else we could talk about later.
Oh yeah.
Princess Bride. I have to come back to that. So anyway, I probably have, oh, wait.
She has a scale.
This way, the scale comes out of my bag and is now officially back in the shop. If I can get all this yarn away from it. Come on. Come to life. Let's see how much of this skein I have left. I have 134 grams left of 250 grams, right?
250 grams.
So I have more than half of this left, and I have done this much of the sweater. Don't count the collar. If the collar had been done with this skein, I would probably be halfway through the skein of yarn. I have set aside, including this, 4 skeins of yarn to make this sweater. When I started this, it was with the dream and ambition of telling y'all how many of these it would need to make a sweater, and it's been in timeout for a little bit. So I have that whole problem of too many things on needles. What?
It's not a thing.
Oh, this is another squirrely episode. So before I forget about this one, I just started my 3rd skein. I'm into the last, I'm sure I've held this up recently, but on my Rosa Canina in the really crazy color changing feeder book, I just changed colors, just changed skeins, and there was no way to have the color blend. Like, don't know if that'll show off on camera. There was no way to have the color blend. I went from a mauvey purple and tealy twist to a deep purple and deep yellow twist. And we'll have to see how much that really sticks out. It might not, because there's so many crazy colors in this. It might not show. I was a little worried about it though. I'm on my 3rd skein that is the oldest, so it might not blend the most with the rest of this, but I'm on the part where I'm just going to cable to my heart's content, that section up top there. So that's exciting. That was my morning meditation this morning. But again, the rows are getting longer. So, you know,
I'm starting my way across row 14, stripe 14. So I'm almost halfway done with halfway done with this section that I'm going to end
I was going to say, you're not going to all 30
I'm
sections.
not doing all 30.
All 30 stripes or what have you, right? I wanted to, the last little, like, going back to what we talked about yesterday, I did manage, maybe part of the reason I'm so tired today, is I did manage to rename, at least online. When you go to the online listings of the Barocco Ultra Alpaca, you should see the names and not just the numbers now, which I think is really helpful, because they all start with 6, and some of them are 4 numbers and some of them are 5. But if you're like me, you can easily flip color numbers around and then buy the wrong color. So I put up all the names, and what I thought was really interesting is the ones that we call heathered. They have, it's whatever mix, they're calling it a mix. So if you look at the drop down list, most of them, if they don't have the word mix next to the name of the Ultra Alpaca, it's a fairly solid color. Like the yellow, the mustard yellow, it's called Dijon. Like
the navy blue,
it's just navy, right? Merlot was the warm the warm burgundy type color that we got in. And so the mix ones, some of them have kind of cool names. Like this one is berry pie mix, and I think about, you know, like a blueberry pie, or like a
blueberry, raspberry, all the berries mixed.
Like when they're mixed, when they're baked in a pie, they get super dark. That one works really well. This one that I said, it's got little bits of like yellow in it, and it's funky and maybe orange and stuff. It's called Grapefruit Mix. I think that's super cute too. That one I have questions about, so I'm gonna save that one. Caribbean Mix. I'm gonna see if I remember all the names. I'm probably not. I don't remember what this one was. But
Is
I think this one's blueberry mix.
blueberry mix.
So just deep dark blueberry, you know, it's like blues and purples and stuff. Kept calling this pea soup color. It's called pea soup mix. I mean, how great is that, right? This guy, the dark and broody, is called peat mix. This one, emerald mix. I'm pretty sure this one's a mix. Yeah,
yep.
Emerald mix. Nice bright green.
One of them was Starry Night.
This one's Starry Night. The one that's kind of just a lighter blue. It's like some of the classic blue colors of the Starry Night painting. You know, not necessarily deep and vivid, but it's kind of nice. I'm forgetting what this one is. I might have to go look. This is Cerulean mix. And this is a really, really soft light blue color, but then it also has purples and other things in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to look at what this one is online. This one's Grove mix, and it's a lot, it's almost like a creamsicle color. And I was saying, Liz, I'm not sure why it's called Grove mix, but it could be like an orange grove, maybe.
Mango grove.
Mango grove, more like a mango. It's true. The color is more like a mango. I'm gonna maybe stick that over there because I have something else I want to talk about, but I have to look at what this one is now. So I'm gonna look that up. But while I'm doing that, or actually we might pause for a second unless you have something else to talk about while I do that. But in the video, I'm going to edit right back to this.
Obvious name.
Okay. No. Okay. So we're picking up from here. Cause I went and looked, and it's called Cobalt mix. It's like, I thought it was something fancier than that, but I mean, it's a bright cobalt blue. It's just got a little bit of a heather mix to it, you know? So, oh, the thing that you having the reference to Princess Bride though, Lyrical Knits, who is a pattern writer who's done all these really fun mystery knit alongs that have to do with shows or with movies or with stuff. Like, I came across her when there was a Hamilton mystery knit along back when the shop was a newbie shop, and it was really fun. It was a cowl. She has done she's done a Monty Python knit along with some Nights Who Say Knit.
Yep.
And I think that was like a rectangular wrap. And she is starting at the end of February. She's doing it with Miss Babs, but I'm obviously going to use yarn from our shop. And if you're interested in using yarn from our shop as well, we can help you out with it. She's doing a Princess Bride knit along. And y'all know, oh my gosh, I love Princess Bride, and anything Princess Bride related, I will do. So I think it's called As You Wish Mystery Knit Along, which makes sense. And what she'll do is the clues will have references to the movie and jokes based on lines. And again, I think almost every instance has a quote from the movie that I can apply to it. You know, when I work with people on lessons, I say my go-to line is, you rush a miracle man, you get rotten miracles. When they because they only have an hour with me, or they feel like I'm watching, or they want to get to the next thing, they start trying to go too fast. And then we have to usually fix mistakes or back up, or going faster doesn't mean you actually get it done faster. But I like to say,
it means you get to your mistake faster.
Right. I like to say, you rush a miracle man, you get rotten miracles. If you try to go too fast, it's going to look, it could, not necessarily will, it could look kind of poopy. So, you know. So you need 4 colors for this mystery knit along, and colors 1 and 2 need to contrast. They'll work with each other, so they need to contrast. And colors 3 and 4 need to contrast. And in my head, I have thoughts about colors. I mean, y'all know it's fingering weight. I'm probably going to do it out of fiber spades because I just love it, right? And if you know Princess Bride, like, okay, I got to turn to the fingering weight section of our fiber space rack. We have this side and we have this side. If you know Princess Bride, I'm almost off screen. Whoops. Buttercup is in a red dress. like the whole time. So when I think of Buttercup, I think of these two colors. I don't know if I'll use them together. I have to see what the contrast does, but you know,
Yeah.
blonde, red dress. And I have not knit with this new strawberry. Like, it's not brand new, but it's kind of new for us, strawberry. So these two probably. And when I was first thinking about Buttercup, also, I was thinking red dress. And I'm thinking the man in black, who's Wesley. Sorry if I spoil the movie for y'all. But he's also blonde. And by the way, yeah, so the darkest black, like the darkest color we have. Like Liz is already probably thinking of other things.
No.
But,
I was thinking Smoky Joe.
I'm thinking Smoky Joe too. And we could try to see if one of these Smoky Joes has darker patches in it. And then it's like maybe this, right? But then the question is,
Smoky Joe works for both Wesley and the Cliffs of Insanity.
That's true too, right? But then I'm trying to think about other characters. Like we have all the crochet characters. I could pull them out. I'm trying to think, either I can try to work off of other colors that make me think of the movie, or I can just try to find a fourth color that will work with all this. So
if you throw in the peacock,
interesting.
You get the Prince
Humperdinck?
Yeah.
Do I want Prince Humperdinck in this?
Well, I mean, you know.
It is a nice bright color to go with these guys.
Green for Vizzini.
This is interesting. Like Vizzini, would that be a forest green or an avocado green?
I would go with the Everglade.
Okay. I'm looking for that. There's always pulling in a color like a dark and broody, but I'd have to replace one of those, I think. I want starker colors though, right? Vizzini, possibly. I'm trying to think about indigo, like what color, like this is like an indigo, kind of, not really, but for indigo. There, we could do Vizzini. Then I feel like I'm getting a little Christmassy.
Yeah.
Because there's also the how these colors are going to play together. Okay, so Fezzik and indigo don't really wear bright colors. You know, there's not necessarily a color here that makes me think of them. So this is where I start to run into, okay, what color? I think the peacock is nice for a big, although then we're going to primary colors, right? Here's how my brain works when I'm trying to pick colors for a project. Anybody else out there? You know?
All day. We'll debate this all day.
I mean, people were so loving on the plum imps, but I really think I want to keep the red. Like the strawberry, I haven't really knit with. One of my favorite colors of all time is the deep teal. So I could put that in just because I love it, right? Instead of the peacock as a contrast for something. That's always a possibility. We could always put a neutral in, but I feel like two neutrals
if you do a neutral or an extra neutral, you could go with like the either not the Dovestone, but the Pebble Beach.
I've done so much with this Pebble Beach.
I know you have.
Yeah,
but
which doesn't have to be a reason not to use it.
But you could throw that in and have, you know.
I've got this mountain of yarn in front of me.
It's not a thing.
Not a thing. I don't know if I like that one with the other. I mean, it will contrast.
What you could.
We don't know what's going to happen where. That's the whole thing about a mystery knit along, right?
That's why I don't do them. I want spoilers.
I mean, I'm going to keep pondering this. There's the heavenly. I'm always kind of intrigued with the heavenly, but I think that's too bright.
If you did the verdigris, it would be like the forest.
Oh, well,
or the ROUSs.
There's the fire swamp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe the fire swamp replaces instead of the man in black. I don't know. Oh, this is so hard.
But So like the question is, it's based on 4 colors.
Yeah.
But you could
But 2 and 2.
actually,
Yeah.
you could actually change, you could use more colors.
I could.
Okay.
I'm trying not to Carolize too much. I'll leave that to Carol.
This is going to be both a public and a private personal project.
She's trying to push me out of the nest.
Well, no, but like depending on the clue, you might be, hey, I would like to incorporate colors that remind me of.
Mhm.
And I think picking your 4, and considering the fact that Miss Babs yarn is bigger skeins than this.
She said it should only be about 400 meters. She's not
Okay.
talking about pushing
Okay.
you into having
Bigger.
to make it with Miss Babs.
Okay.
This is 399 meters.
So it's close.
She said 400 meters
But-
should work, or 400 yards. She might have even said, which is less meters. Anyway, fewer meters.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Liz is trying to say
but
I have options, and I don't know
you-
if I'm going to take those options, but we'll see.
She never takes the options.
But she's also saying if you all want to do this, you can take the options. Okay, so here's the thing with mystery or not mystery knit-alongs is you can always change stuff up. The question is, how much do you want to, or do you want to just follow the directions? For some people, they have to change things up. For some people, they don't want to. You know, for me, I just usually do because it's a little easier. But for some people, their comfort zone is not there yet. And sometimes we push them out of the nest in their comfort zone. And sometimes we say, it's all good.
Well,
We try to feel if they really want to be pushed out of their comfort zone.
you could also mix yarns. Like we have some gorgeous reds apart from, I mean, I know you want fiber space, but we have
That would
some
be fun to use the fiber space.
gorgeous reds that would, pop.
I will have to think about this more.
Or a variegated or hand dyed. I mean,
I'll have to think about this more. Y'all can weigh in. Absolutely.
don't lock yourself.
I'm
in a
annoying
box.
Liz now. What?
Don't lock yourself in a box.
Yeah, I actually I'm like, I haven't used this color before. So I was kind of excited by that. But you're right. We do have some more intense and vivid and awesome reds in fingering weight. We do. So I can think about it. There's so many 4-color fingering weight shawls lately. I've been like, ooh, and then I haven't done it. Yeah, so I have to do this. We also have better colors for the man in black. Technically, it's 10. We have to go answer that. So I'm gonna let Liz go answer that, and have fun finding the phone. I think there's one on the counter. And join us for knit night tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. if you want to talk with me on camera about what I'm doing for my knit along. So we love y'all. We miss you. Once again, we gotta run. Bye.